Hello everyone, I am Joelle the Star Dragon. Today we're going to talk about how to manually choose colors for shading. Now, a lot of the time, and this is not the wrong way to shade, I use this method all of the time, is that I make a multiply layer over my colors and just, shade it. Because it's easy, and that's the thing you can do with digital art. Same thing with highlights. And that's fine to do. I do it literally all the time. But sometimes it's a useful skill to know how to manually choose colors that are going to work in your shadows. So, we're going to use my friend Azai here, and we're going to make some color choices. So I'm just going to make another layer, and I'm going to make a little color palette. So this is his body, and this is his underbelly. And this design pretty much only has two. There's like the pink inside of his ears, so we'll put that down as well. And that's pretty much all the colors we're going to be worrying about on this design. But this method can be expanded to any design with any color. It just works. Okay, so we're going to choose colors for his body. So I'm going over here to my color wheel, as you can see, and we're going to move the hue over this direction towards red, just a little bit, not too much. And then we're going to want to bring the color selection down a little bit, and then make it more saturated. So basically, here's the color wheel. Here's the square. We started about up here. I went over here, pretty much. And that's going to be my mid-tone color. Might be a little dark, but I also am used to doing very light pressure brushes, so you can build a lot on them. Anyway, but yeah, so you can just futz around with it a little bit, add it to your color palette until you find a mid-tone that you like, and then we're gonna go from that mid-tone, we're gonna scooch it down a little bit more towards red, and we're gonna make it go darker, and then we're gonna do desaturated. And they're gonna pop it over here. I don't think that's dark enough. There we go. So that's our color range for the dark colors. Then we're gonna go for light, then we're gonna push it a little bit towards green, and we're going to make it light. And I think I want it to do a little bit lighter. There we go. So that's going to be our color range for his body. And you may be asking, hey, why did we make it, why did we choose to go towards red when we're, darkening, and towards yellow when we're lightening? Basically what you want to do is every color has a value. Just in full, like a fully saturated color. So I'm just gonna make a new layer. So we have fully saturated red, fully saturated yellow. Which of these colors is lighter? Instinctively, you know it's yellow, but why? Because it has a lighter value. So if we make a layer that says color, and we just go over that, that's what their values are. So you could shade with just red and yellow. It would look like a very eye bleedy sort of drawing, but you could sketch something and color it with just red and yellow, and the red would be red as more of a shadow, and the yellow could be red as the highlight. And it would work. It would just be really hard to look at. But yeah, and so what we're doing when we move around our color wheel is we're picking colors that are adjacent colors that are either lighter or darker than our original hue. And basically, a good rule of thumb is this is the darker end of the color wheel, this side with the red, pink, purple, blue. This is the lighter value side with orange, green, and like teal. Those are lighter values, these are darker values. And so when choosing to move your hue, to adjust your hue, you can move it. So like if we wanted to choose a color for teal, or we wanted to choose shadow colors for teal, then let's go with teal. Same thing, we know that this side of the color wheel is darker, so we're gonna move it slightly more towards the blue and purple. And we're gonna go with this. We might need to do it. Hang on, what's going on? Hold on, I'm on the wrong layer, Kronk. Let's try again. Okay, teal. Here we go. And of course our highlight color for that would be over this direction, because this direction on the color wheel is lighter. Bada bing, bada boom. Now if we just went on the same color, same hue value, our shading would just look like this. Oh wait, I'm so used to doing it the other way. Alright, yeah. Yeah, so it would just look like that. It's nice, not as dynamic. It could be good depending on the look you're going for, but I always like this one a little bit more, this method of choosing colors. So then we're just going to quickly do that for the rest of the colors, and I'm probably going to speed up this section so you don't have to just sit around and awkwardly watch me choose colors. Okay, we're back. We have our colors. And once again, as a reminder, our method of choosing these colors has to do with nudging the hue wheel either one way or another, depending on if we want our value to be lighter or darker. And then we're going to start with our neutral color, and then for the mid-tone we want to do more saturated and darker, and then we want to do less saturated and probably even more darker, because as you move away from saturation, you also lose value. It's weird. I might do a whole video on what colors and value and hue and saturation all have to do with each other, but that is a long topic. I'm just telling you, this works right now. Trust me. And you can always futz around with the colors until they look right to you. Anyway, we're gonna start shading as I. So first, let's see. I usually use a painterly brush. I totally messed it up and didn't do it on the right layer. Okay, that's why it was being so much stronger than I wanted it to be. And I usually like to group shading stages together. Like the mid-tone, I want to do all of the mid-tones together, or at least on adjacent pieces that have overlapping shadows, because then you can really visualize where all the shadows are going. And fix any mistakes before you get too far into the drawing. And also another thing that helps a lot with especially my painterly rendering style is using the Alt key or the eyedropper to constantly pick colors when you're drawing with them. So you can always adjust your brush color and get a smoother shading result. Okay, then if you wanted to, you could just stop here. This looks good enough. But the more steps of color you add, the more depth it's going to have. But usually four colors. Dogs. 4 colors is what I like to aim for when I was doing traditional art, and that is more than enough color range for your art to look very in-depth and beautiful. And there we go. He's done. And you can apply this to any range of colors. It all works all the time. And they have different looks, ultimately. This is just neutral lighting, no special highlight or bounce colors to be found. And this one is like, you can more easily get colored light, but sometimes it's helpful to know how to manually choose colors as well. Often improving in one area can improve how you do things in another area. Like, for example, if I wanted to add another step of shadow, but I wanted to really control the way that it looks, or, I don't know, you just feel spicy, like you want to do it, you can choose the color, your mid-tone color, and you can just manually choose your darker color, and you can put it on there. I'm just going to do an overpaint layer because I think that's what will work. Yeah, you can just manually choose what color you want. And same thing here. And you can also you can learn why things are the way they are. Like this is more in the orange. This color is slightly darker. I'm trying to think, how do I say this? These colors are very similar. This one is just, the one over here is just slightly less saturated. So I got fairly close to what the multiply layer did for me over here. It's just slightly lighter, and like I said, I could just improvise the color from there. And have a dark color. And let's say if I wanted to see how close I got with this color. With the highlight color. Extremely close. Wow. It's almost like it's science. But yeah, and you can always, like, if you wanted this shadow to be more red in color, you can always push it even further. And let's say you just want it to be like that. That also works. You could just do whatever you want. This can be pushed to whatever extreme you want it to be at. So let's push the color wheel even further. So we'll start with our neutral body color. And let's push it really far into the red. And you always want to keep in mind the value of the color you're using, because red is a very dark color. Yeah, say you want a really wide range of color. You can do that. It's all the same, and you can make it work with your drawing. It just, do you want a lot? Do you want a little bit of color hue variation, or do you want a lot of hue variation? This kind of shading makes it very, very, like, your art is going to really pop out if you do this kind of thing and you really push that color wheel. Oh, let's just experiment, and let's do a whole ass. So let's do fully red for our midtone, and then go fully into the pink for our dark, and then go fully into green for our highlight. That's also a color palette that can work. It just has a different vibe. It's very versatile. It's a very versatile way to choose colors. If it helps if you're stuck on what kind of a color palette you want, or what vibe you want a drawing to have. You can always you can use this method, play around with color palettes, and make it do whatever you want it to do. And yeah, that's about it. You can combine this with, multiply shading, which is what I do a lot of the time, especially if I have like highlight colors or whatever that I need to add in manually. And yeah, it's just, it's a useful skill, and I hope you like it and that it helps you expand your art toolkit and skill, and yeah, bada bing, bada boom. That's all I have for today. If you enjoyed the video, please consider subscribing. And I also have a Twitch channel on twitch.tv/StarDragonArt. If you want to see me draw live there sometimes. And all the programs that I use to make this video, I'm going to link down in the description. I'm also going to link the music that I use. Hopefully it's copyright free, like the title said. So, yeah. Bye!